Welcome back to New York City Gardener. I'm Nastasha. I have a few things that I want to get done today. The most important thing is working on my watering system. So have you seen in my last videos, some of the tubing is disconnected, some of the plants don't have emitters, but I got more of the correct size tubing that I need. I did one yesterday and I did some work on that. So that one's looking really good. So we just need to get the rest of these done. And then I have tons of emitters. So it's just about getting them all set up. The other thing I want to do is you can see my fountain there in the back. It's doing really well, but I'm starting to see a little bit of algae. I want to add more of this algicide. This stuff has worked wonders for keeping that fountain clear. I've tried other things, but this is the only thing for me that worked. I need to add about 20 more drops of that. That's going to take like 1 minute. Do some transplanting. I have this sage that I got from New York Restoration Project, which I've talked about in the past. This needs to go in a way bigger container. This is definitely just a starter pot, and it's constantly drying out and I need to get it out of here immediately. I also have all these mint. This is sweet mint yerba buena. Oh, you can tell me if I'm saying that wrong in the comments, but these, I have 4 grow bags like this, and there's mint in here, and then there's bachelor buttons, and then there's, I think it's a weed. So I want to get this better organized, and I want to put all 4 of these containers into a bigger trash can that I got at IKEA, which I've talked about. Doing some transplanting, working on the watering system. Let's get going. We got good amount of bachelor buttons, so let's get all those planted over there. My goal is really for this whole thing to be bachelor buttons. We're working on it. So now I'm just gonna stake them up a little bit because I know they're not gonna be happy that they've been moved. We're getting there. Let me give you a closer look. I have them staked up here, and I'm using my little clips, and hopefully at some point I can remove these stakes. They'll be strong enough. Although we do have a good amount of wind, but the wind should also be dying down as we get more into summer. Yeah, but I think that looks pretty good. We don't have soil here in this little corner, so it's always gonna maybe be a little bit difficult to get it right down the middle, but hopefully these guys will start just kind of growing this way. And right behind me I hear this little bee. Oh, a lot of bees. Very good. I think we should take a moment to appreciate the beauty that is New York City. Those clouds. Also very grateful that I have some cloud cover today because it's helping keep me cool during this hot weather. Now the next thing I want to do is transplant this cantaloupe. I don't know if you can tell, but it's starting to become a jungle back here, and there's probably going to be a point where it's going to be very difficult to move things around. The cantaloupe is big enough now to where I can go and put in the bigger bag. We also do have 2 pumpkins back there. I probably should just go ahead and pick one because I can only have 1 pumpkin per bag. We have the watermelon here. Nice, it looks like all 4 sprouted, which is great. Ooh, and ladybug, thank you very much. I've never been stung by a bee, so I'm just trying to be careful because there's a lot going on over here. So this is the Minnesota midget cantaloupe. We are with the cantaloupe seedling, planted a little bit back there so I can start going this way. And then we have our pumpkin back there. There are definitely 2 seedlings back there, so maybe I should just go ahead and pick one really quickly before this becomes more of a jungle, because this is definitely going to be a jungle, but that's also the look I'm going for. I want this to be just like covered in green. I just noticed that it looks like one of the seedlings already died, so it made the decision for me. We have the pumpkin seedling there. I went ahead and tried to get it above the shelving so it can start going up. That looks really cool. I need to water in this cantaloupe. In a few days I'll make a decision on which watermelon seedling to go with. On to getting these transplanted. So we have the sage, and then we have all this mint that I want to try to get into 1 container. I'm going to be using these trash cans. These I got for $1 at IKEA over the winter. I checked on IKEA recently and they're $2 now, but hey, still for a planter that is insanely cheap, and this is going to work for what I want to do. I have my soldering iron over here because I've been using a lot of these reusable containers, so we're going to use this to create holes in the bottom. And while we wait for that to warm up, you see everything is looking really good in here. I still need to top off these containers with soil. Look at this. we already have a tomato, which is so cool. And then it looks like peppers are starting to grow there. So these are all looking good. I do have to water these pretty much every day. I haven't watered them today, and it does look like everybody needs good watering. But overall, it's been a pretty good system. I make 2 holes in the bottom here. So I'll just go through it just to have some drainage. I love the soldering iron. I think it was like $8 on Amazon, and I use it for making tons of containers. Make sure you always do this outside. These 2 planted. So this is the sage. So I decided to place some over here until I find a better spot for them. But I think for now they're good here. Probably need to add an emitter as well, but for now we're just going to give them a really good watering. Let's turn on the system so we can see what's going on. There is a Wi-Fi connector to it, but it stopped working. Right now I'm having to manually turn this on because I either need to buy a new one of these, which is probably what I need to do, or keep trying to fix the Wi-Fi. But anyway, at the moment, I just have to turn on manually. So let's go see what's going on. One thing I see just in the beginning here is there is water leaking here. So I probably need to get my partner to tighten this up to make sure we're not losing pressure that way. Back to the raspberry, 2 emitters that are ready to go. So I'm just gonna try to figure out a place to put them in here. The other thing I would like to do is remove these bachelor buttons, get these out of here. I think we got it done. So I think we did it. This one is definitely coming out the strongest, so I have it closest to the plant. I'm gonna leave the top off. It's not as strong coming out, but I'm gonna leave it anyway because at least a little bit's coming out. So that way we have 2 emitters. Also, maybe if I find another section of the watering system that's water is going nowhere, probably why the pressure is so low, then maybe more water will come out there. The way the watering system works is it goes around, the spout is over there and it goes all the way around. And then it goes around this perimeter as well. So here is the middle of the watering system. It's the tubing down there. And so I think what's happening is we have the water going both directions from this way and that way. But then when it gets here to the middle, the pressure is probably the lowest. You can see, for example, this one, water's not coming out at all. This is my lemon tree, which is gonna need a lot of water. So I still have to figure out how I'm gonna make that work. Here's the water, just literally just watering nothing. Need to fix it. We have the emitter here. Now that I've taken that top off, I think at least some water's coming out of here. So everything I need here, I've got my torch, I have an emitter, some scissors, and I have all my tubing. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this first. So I just light it a little bit, just to weaken the rubber a little bit, so it goes on this a lot easier. It's nice and connected. I just found a little ladybug in my apartment, and so I'm putting it back out into the garden. Let's try to get this going. These are like a bit hard to connect, but I'm just gonna keep trying. I have my tubing, I already connected it back there. I feel like this tubing is not as flexible as my other tubing. I feel like I'm having a bit of a harder time, but I'm just gonna keep trying. What I do is I just melt it a little bit, not too much, just a little, just so I can get it to wrap around this thing. We're gonna try, oh man, come on. Oh, it's hot. I get it over that lip, which is the hard part. Gotta maybe wiggle it a little bit. It worked. I wanna make sure that every container has its own emitter. Great. This is a pepper plant, so we don't need a ton of water. We just need consistent water. We have this one, it's coming out a little bit, not as much as I'd like. However, it's kind of leaking here. So I think I'm just gonna kind of treat it like a drip irrigation. And this one is coming out a good amount. I think that's probably enough. We can also kind of put it more in the middle. That's good. Could always take it off, but I think that might be a little too much for a pepper plant. The entire watering system goes for about 10 minutes every day, so we don't want too much water, just enough so that they have the consistency without getting too dry. Ooh, we have a lot of flowers, and we already have jalapenos. So exciting. We have this raspberry plant, And I'm looking for the emitters. Yep. And absolutely nothing is coming out. So I can show you. So nothing is coming out of here. So we need to fix those as well. Look at the floor. There's a lot of little ones on the floor. That kind of tells me it's just not getting enough water. Also, it needed more fertilizer, which I just did fertilize it the other day. But you can tell like the new growth. These are new canes, and look how green and beautiful they are. I can tell that they're taking all of the nutrients away from making raspberries. So that's not good. The fact that these are turning brown, I think is not a good sign either. So I'm happy that we're fixing the watering system today because it's a bit disappointing to see all these brown raspberries on here. That could have been full raspberries if I had just done this a little sooner. But you know, you live and you learn. In the meantime, we have this beautiful being doing his job, so thank you very, very much. I'd say the garden is looking very good. See you guys on the next one.